So we got something new. This is the Staccato HD P4. I just got this in yesterday, and just this morning I went and shot a match with it. So this is going to be an initial impressions and thoughts kind of video on this thing. Now, obviously, this guy is clear. Next to me here, I have my Glock 17 because this is what I carry on duty, and it's what I've been shooting at matches for the last year and a half or so. And so this is going to be from the perspective of somebody who has a lot of trigger time comparatively to a Glock, and not very much on a 2011 based platform. Really quick, we can, let me see how I can do this. Let's get these guys side by side. We'll line up triggers. You can see they are, if you line up from the back of the slide, the Glock is definitely a little bit longer, as you'd expect. And then the thickness is more or less the same. Yeah, they're just about as thick as each other. What did I think? So, again, I've shot 2011s, I've shot Etsy's, P's, Atlases, Fowlers. I've shot them. I don't have a lot of trigger time behind them. But with that said, I still have yet to see the results from the match, but considering I've never really shot this gun before, I haven't really done any reps with the reloads or you know, dropping the slide with my support hand, stuff like that. I think I still did all right, comparatively speaking. One thing you always hear a lot of people talk about on the internet is at the back here, the beaver tail for a lot of people is just digging into like right here on their thumbs. And definitely like when I just grab the gun, how I'd grab it here and dry fire, whatever, like I can feel it digging in, like holding my Glock, like there's really, don't really feel much. You can feel pressure, but it's not necessarily painful. I'd definitely say with the HD, there's a little bit of pain involved with that. But while I was shooting, I didn't really notice any hot spots or pain while I was shooting. It was only after the fact. So I don't really think it like interrupted my shooting flow or anything like that. But it's definitely, it is there. It is something to keep in mind. I guess from what people have described, it's just like something with the way the manual safety is. It just isn't filed down enough, or I guess it's the beaver tail. It just could probably be rounded off a little bit more. But in terms of how the gun's shot, you know, it's a little shorter than the 17, but I would say it's just as smooth, if not a little bit smoother than the 17 in the Recoil Impulse. So I really enjoyed shooting it. I'm excited to get more reps on it and shoot it a lot more. This is going to be my dedicated competition gun for the time being. In the future, I might decide to carry it off duty or in a plainclothes capacity, but at the moment, my department doesn't let me carry 2011s. So, be competition gun for now, and I'm a-okay with that. Another thing, I really like the grip texturing on this. If you've been around the channel, if you've seen some of my other videos, you'll know I'm always bitching about how sweaty my hands get, and like you'll see here on my Glock, I took, this is basically anti-slip strips that you would stick on flooring or on stairs. It's basically what that is, because on a typical Glock grip, my hands get so sweaty I can't grip onto it. So that's my solution on my Glock. But on this Staccato, man, this grip is so, it's aggressive, but at the same time it's not. Like if you were to conceal this, you'll probably feel it, but it's not going to be like terrible, I don't think. You know, that's just what I would think would happen. I don't know that for sure. But talking about mads, obviously, gun is clear. These mads do have rounds in them, but I'm not going to rat the slide. So this is a typical Glock mad. It has a Terran Tactical +5, I think, base plate. And she goes in just fine, drops out just fine. Got just standard Glock mads, 17 rounder. She goes in just fine, comes out just fine. Have a Madpole. What is this thing? 17er. Goes in just fine. Have a 19X, 19 round mad. So Glock mad with 19 round base plate. Goes in just fine, comes out just fine. And then obviously the gun, my gun shipped with 4 of these metal Metgar magazines. And needs a little bit of extra love tap in there. This one is fully loaded, so goes in there just fine, pops out just fine. So at least for me, with my mads that I have, I don't have any issues with mad fitment. Also, I guess good comparison in terms of size, in some ways, would be a sort of carry gun. This is my 320 carry. Currently doesn't have anything on it. I actually stripped off the red dot and put it on this guy. It's a Zero Tech Thrive HD red dot. Really like these things. Go check out my video on these if you want to know more about that. But you know, these are both 4-inch guns. Let's see if I can get these lined up. Both 4-inch guns, pretty much the same length. The grip on the Staccato, they're basically the same length. Pretty much the same thickness. Like, these are basically the same size gun. And man, like, I've enjoyed shooting the SIG despite all the drama around them. I also have a video on that if you want to check out my thoughts on SID. But, like, I don't know, man. Just the way they have this grip, like, again, nobody freaks out. Gun is clear. Like, the way the grip is, if you notice, like, it tapers off down here. And I don't have very big hands, so like when I'm fully gripped on this thing, like I still have a little bit of room down here. And just with the way it tapers off, like, especially with my pinkies, like I can get my pinky all the way around it and it's not an issue. Now, one thing I'll say, I don't know if this is a one-off kind of thing or if this is how they all ship, but I did not obviously I did not buy a red dot from Staccato and have them mount it. So it comes with a mounting, like a cover on it from the factory. And I don't know if this is a one-off thing, but I couldn't seem to have found a Allen key, or rather a hex key, that fit the screws to take that off in the bag for the Staccato. I had to actually use one of the head screws that came with the Thrive HD to take off that cover. Came with a bunch of hex keys, like came with a hex key to take off the grip here and the whatever the hell this screw does. Forgive me, I'm a 2011 noob, but came with a bunch of hex keys, just not one to take off the plate. And those screws were very, very tight. I actually, like, the hex key was the right size that I had from Zero Tech. I actually stripped the hex key. It broke off some of the teeth. And I had to get another tool to get a little bit more leverage and get that thing off. So that was very tight. Also, I don't know, again, 2011 noob. I don't know if this is exclusive to the HD or if this is just a 2011 thing. But getting this Surefire on here was a bitch and a half. It is very, very tight. Like, yeah, that thing's probably not coming off. It was a very tight fit to get this thing on here. So I don't know if that's just how 2011s are or if their tolerances are just so tight on this rail, but it is very tight. And it's not the insert that I have in there, because it's the rail part of it that is causing it to hang up. Moving on, I guess the safety, I can talk a little bit about that. I don't have a lot of experience with 2011, so I'm not the best sort of resource on that, but I have, again, I've shot like Atlases, Etsy's, Fowlers, and they're all a little bit different, but I recently shot a friend of mine's Fowler, and I noticed that the safety was much tighter on the Fowler. This thing is very, very easy to just flick up and down. So, a tip that I was given specifically for this gun from people who'd shot it at SHOT Show and stuff was like, you have to pretty much ride your thumb on this safety. Otherwise, you run a high risk of knocking that thing up during the shooting process. So I didn't have any issues with that at the match. I guess I'll look back at the footage. I'll probably have some of it playing, but I didn't have any issues with that. I don't know if I was riding my thumb here or not. I guess the footage will tell that, but it is very, very easy to activate. Some of my friends who took a look at it, they really enjoyed this like thumb ledge that they have here. My support thumb is not big enough to reach that. It's not long enough, so I don't get to enjoy it, but to them, with a little bit bigger hands, they said it felt great, which I wouldn't doubt. I would like to see maybe if somebody could make some sort of aftermarket safety for this thing that included kind of a gas pedal right there. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then what would a gun impressions video be without ghosting the trigger? So once more, gun is clear. Again, one thing I've heard is like the trigger is not as good as other 2011s, but if you notice, just a little bit of take up, you hit a wall, pressure, 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 and it just breaks. I don't really notice much mushiness. Reset is not very tactile or audible. So take that as you will, but get one more here. Pressure, pressure, pressure. So, I mean, trigger feels good to me. Again, coming from a Glock, I primarily shot a Glock. Much smoother, much crisper than a Glock. I think there's a lot of guns out there like that, but I don't have any issues with the trigger from my end. Again, I think that's one thing that a lot of people have said online who have more experience with 2011s. They've shot, you know, Staccato Ps, Etsy's, Atlases. They've shot those a ton. And then they try this thing out, and to them, I guess the trigger doesn't feel as good, which, you know, it's their opinion. But from me, as somebody who doesn't really have much time behind 2011s, I think it feels great. Now, one potential issue that I ran into, both just kind of messing around last night with it and then at the match also, was if you have a magazine inserted and you go to reload, you know, my hand isn't quite big enough to reach the mag release, which, I mean, it's never been for me. I've always had to kind of rotate my hand. So can't get it to recreate right now on camera. But what I noticed was if you you press the mag release, but it doesn't press all the way, the mag will kind of get hung up right there, just like that. It happened in the match, and it just doesn't fall out. So you have to like fully make sure you press in that mag release, or else your mag is just not going to fall out like it should. It gets hung up just like that, because that's not fully inserted. That's fully inserted. So, don't know what's going on there. It might just be a break-in thing or a training thing. But I guess I'll continue to shoot it, and I'll report back on that in the future. I was worried that with the irons forward like that the height of them was going to protrude too far up into the sight picture and the red dot, but you know, obviously still clear. Let's see if I can get a shot of this. It was surprisingly good. So it's kind of like a lower 1/3 here in the zero tech is kind of where it sits. But yeah, that's kind of my initial impressions here on the Staccato. If you've shot them, or if you have any other questions about them, let me know. Gun shot great, ran great. Excited to keep using it, so keep a lookout here on the channel and then also on my Instagram for more stuff about this if you're interested. So anyway, without rambling too much, got a little rambly here, but
you can use your good arm now.
yeah. Thanks for watching the video. Have a good day.